Alright, so basically this is a tutorial on the first or basic parts of iMovie. So we've got the very first thing that you will usually see in iMovie: importing images, adding text, transitions, and we might just stop there at these first four. Alright, so first thing when you open up iMovie is you'll probably new project and you'll see something like this. Now, what iMovie has done is give you themes. They over on the right here, they'll show you a bit of an intro, a bit of a snapshot of what each theme will look like. So this is set at no theme, so it allows you to just create and edit how you want. As you make the different choices, it allows you to put different videos into different areas. So all of these little things will be preset, and then you add your own video and images to that. They do vary particular for specific scenarios. Sports is a new one, so if they're creating a sports program, obviously this text is just rubbish text to show you that you can put anything in there. Yeah, so that's pretty straightforward. A newscast is a good one the students usually use if they're doing some sort of documentary. All you have to do is add your own video to it. Movie trailers is a new, relatively new thing for iMovie, where it allows you to make a trip or do something and put it into, that was the audio of it, into a movie trailer. So it gives it sort of like a 3-minute, it gives durations here, so 44 seconds, and they could be a number of different things. So once you get used to iMovie, maybe if you start using some of these templates, it'll probably give you a really good understanding of how much you can add and how much can be edited with iMovie. Okay, so what we're going to do though is click no theme, and the aspect ratio is the very first thing to understand. So what happens is in widescreen format, like your LCD TV, so widescreens and things like that, is 16:9 ratio, and standard is 4:3. So that's the old big square, or not so much square, but big rectangular box televisions. That's the standard. Now why this is important is when you import an image that is a standard ratio or a different ratio than 16:9, some cropping will occur to that image or video. And sometimes people they think, well, why is the top half of my head cut off? It's because it's been taken on a different photo, and iMovie automatically crops it, which you can change later, which we might see in the next video. So we're just going to hit create, and now we've got our layout. So the top here is our project. This is what we're going to create, the movie here. And down here is our library or our events. It's called the event area, and that's where you would import video and things like that. But that's really basically the intro and how we start. So next up, importing images. There's a few ways to import images. You can't actually go file, import images. You can only import movies. The one way to do it is if you go over to this area here, you'll see a little camera, and it'll bring up your photo browser. That's obviously one I've taken before, but you can, it actually connects to iPhoto. So if you have any pictures, you can put them straight into iPhoto, and once they're in iPhoto, you're then able to, okay, that's annoying, that is annoying. Okay, so that won't work just now, but that's fine. But yeah, once they're in iPhoto like this one is, you can then just drag it into the area and it becomes part of your photo. Now a good example would be just to show you right now about the cropping that occurs. So this photo was taken not in widescreen format, and that's why it's done some sort of cropping there. If you click on this little button here, these two squares, this actually represents cropping. If I click on those, you'll see it's doing this Ken Burns effect, which actually goes from a start point to a finish. So if I was to play that, it goes start to finish. Alright, if I move the start over here and bring it down, you'll see if I want to play it, it'll go from a small point. So it's pretty straightforward. You use the start box where you want the picture to start and the finish. But if I hit fit, you'll see this photo was taken in a reasonably square format, and that's why iMovie has had to crop it and put some black lines down the side of it, because I've got a widescreen format that I've chosen. The other thing you can do is just hit crop, and you can choose what you want there. So the ratio of this box will stay the same, which is 16 by 9, and then I can move it anywhere I want. At the moment, it won't let me select some of that black line, so if I hit allow black, I can select it and accept some of this black line in there. So when I hit done, the photo is still the same, but it's been cropped a little bit, so it has to accept that part. Alright. The other way you can insert images is by going to Finder and having something anywhere. It could be on your desktop. Let's see if I can find a picture somewhere. What have I got here? Any picture will do. What's in here? Any iPhoto library. Actually, that won't be it, because I know I just looked in there. Flags. This is some pictures in here. So you can just drag from your Finder from your desktop into the area, and it'll do the exact same thing. Okay, so it is pretty easy to insert images. Just remember, you either use iPhoto or you just drag them in from Finder or your desktop. Next part we'll look at is adding text. So to add text, it is relatively simple. This T for text over here gives you all of these different options. Now, they all look black as a black background, but that'll change and you'll see what I mean. But this is just the basic layout. So if I choose, let's say, drifting, and put it anywhere, if I put it where the green line is, it's obviously after the images. If I put it here, it's before the images. Or I can put it on top of the text. Okay, and it'll actually appear on top of the text. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually maybe put it at the start. So whenever I insert it, it then asks me to choose a background, because as you notice they're all done in black, but you can choose a number of different backgrounds. So if you hover over each of them, it gives you a little bit of a preview of what it will look like. So I'll just choose that one, and that's selected. So you'll see now this intro, this text has a blue intro, and it's waiting for me to type something. So I'll just say the iMovie, double click down here, tutorial, and I can just hit done, and that can be it. So now when I play it, it'll keep that format, and then that's pretty good. All of a sudden it starts to look a bit more professional. I can then also move this text. I can maybe move it over here, move it around. It'll still go for 4 seconds, but now when it's there, it'll actually stay over the top of my image. I can double click also this little text thing here and change the duration to, let's say, 2 seconds. So now rather than 4 seconds, I'll only go for 2. So you'll see in and out very quickly. And the last thing is, if you select it, you can also change the font and the size. So once it's selected, hit show fonts, and I can change the font family. I can then change the colour, and then I can change also the size, and then I can change alignment, hit done. So now let's have a look what that looks like. I'm just hitting spacebar to play. So if you hover over something and then hit spacebar, it'll play it from where your mouse was, and that's pretty straightforward. Right, and the last thing we'll look at is transitions, and that's a transition. Actually, first thing I'll do is show you what text is like when you put it over the top of the video. So if I drag something over here, and you'll see that it's gone blue, it means it's going to put on top of that text, and it doesn't actually ask for that background, what colour, because the background is going to be my picture. So part 2 of the text tutorial. Oops. And once I hit done, you'll see it basically just happens over the top. So it's really straightforward. You can choose a number of different options here, and they all suit a particular particular time. Maybe you want one when someone comes up on screen, you might want to sort of use this one, or this is like the start of a movie. They're all different, they're all really interesting to use. Alright, so next part are transitions. So a transition, if you'll watch this picture will go from this straight to the flag, and it actually doesn't have any transition, it just goes to it straight away. This little looks like an hourglass figure is a transitions. So a transition is basically what makes one go to the other a bit more creatively. So if I, for instance, choose Q, rather than just going to the next part, it'll actually do a little transition graphic. Okay, that's it. So let's try a different one, mosaic, and it's basically just dragging them when the green line comes up between the two clips. Okay, and it could pretty much be anything. Now that actually moved pretty fast. I want to go a bit slower. So if I hover over the transition, you'll see it only goes for 0.4 of a second. Double click, and then I can bring this up to maybe 2 seconds. Okay, it's always in seconds. And now when I do it, that mosaic will go a lot slower. So it'll take 2 seconds to do that transition. Okay, so that's again pretty straightforward. Fade to black is obviously done when you fade in and out of a black area. So okay, you'll see the difference with that. But yeah, that's pretty much it as far as transitions go. They're really straightforward, and there are again, at least sort of 20 transitions you can choose from. And that's about it. Next time we'll get on to audio and images and how to edit those images.